Hey there, how are you guys? So welcome to my Spider-Man film review series. A film series that I have been dying to talk about for years now. Ever since I started this channel a couple years ago. I've been wanting to talk about Spider-Man, all three movies, for a long time, and I'm finally having this opportunity to do so. So let's get started, guys. Starting with the very first live-action Spider-Man film, Spider-Man, coming from the director of the Evil Dead movies. Oh, yeah, that same guy, the man himself, Sam Raimi. He directed this film series, and that's amazing. Like, that's so cool. So let's get started with the review, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. So Spider-Man was released on May 3rd, 2002 in theaters, which has passed the 15th anniversary of the Spider-Man film series. Congratulations, Spider-Man. You have been a great film series. Well, minus Spider-Man 3, but we'll get to that. So, yeah. So Spider-Man tells the story of Peter Parker, who is a nerdy, shy, and awkward teenager in high school, and he gets bit by a radioactive spider. And he gains these spider-like abilities, you know, these Spidey powers. And he can shoot spider webs from his wrist, he can climb walls, he can beat up jocks in high school, he can, get stronger, in fact, he becomes stronger overnight, and he's basically a legit spider in human form. And he's pretty much the Spider-Man that we grew up with and that we all know and love. I vividly remember the day I first went to go see this movie at the movie theaters back in 2002 when I was a very little kid. My parents took me to go see it, and my socks were blown off. Seeing a live-action Spider-Man film on the big screen, it was just a different experience altogether. You know how when you're a little kid and you see a movie like on the big screen, especially if it's a superhero like Spider-Man, like you're literally going to be blown away. This little Justin is just in the moment, and like I'm just feeling all magical. Like it just seems so real. Like Spider-Man just feels like a real person. And for the longest time, I always thought that Spider-Man was a real hero that was in New York City. I thought that for the longest time, but growing up, that wasn't really true. But hey, whatever, because like when you're a kid, you get like all these, these really cool ideas in your head, like all these like magical fantasy things in your head all the time. And that's what I felt like watching Spider-Man for the first time in theaters on the big screen. Like it was such a cool experience. I can't really justify it. I can't really like explain it enough to you guys for you guys to understand, but I'm sure a lot of you guys can feel that way. This film was the 56th highest grossing film ever. Like it made so much money back in 2002. There were kids at school that I was pals with that could not stop talking about Spider-Man, but like they were talking about Spider-Man non-stop. It was a very, very popular superhero film back in 2002. Like it was super popular back then. And I am really glad it is, because it is a fantastic film. This is coming from a director of a horror franchise such as the Evil Dead movies. That is pretty impressive. Like that is a completely different jump in a genre. Going from a horror franchise to a superhero action-adventure franchise like Spider-Man. Going for the comic book genre, because Sam Raimi is a big comic book fan. Like, he loves comic books. I mean, in fact, he owns a lot of comic books. So he knows the character Spider-Man pretty well. And he did a great job tackling this project. I think he did a fantastic job tackling it. And I couldn't stop thinking about Spider-Man. As soon as the little Justin, the little me, it left the movie theaters, walking out of the theater, I could not stop thinking about Spider-Man. I just couldn't stop thinking about that movie. Now, this review would not be complete without mentioning the song Hero by Nickelback. Wow. That song is amazing. Like, it fits the whole tone, of Spider-Man completely. Especially during, the end credits, where you actually hear the song itself. I remember hearing that in the movie theaters whenever the credits were rolling up. Like right after we saw Spider-Man swinging through the camera like that. Holy crap, that was so amazing. That was so awesome. It's just like Chad Kroeger, the lead singer of Nickelback, is the man. Like, he is brilliant when it comes to this song. Like, he is on point. The vocals to the song are amazing. I love the vocals. I love everything about that song. Even though Chad Kroeger was kind of being a douchebag to Corey Taylor, you know, the lead singer for, you know, the bands Slipknot and Stone Sour, he said some pretty douchey things about Corey Taylor, and I don't really agree with that at all. So I will definitely be leaving a link to Cody Leach's video, Chad Kroeger Slams Corey Taylor Epic Rant. It is an amazing, just fantastic video. This video is basically Cody trashing Chad Kroeger for what he said, for saying the things that he said about Corey Taylor. Because, he said some pretty douchey stuff about Corey Taylor. Yeah, it's a pretty hilarious video. I laughed so hard during that video. I was dying of laughter. It was an hilarious rant video. Cody was on point on every single note. He was on point, and I cannot praise this channel and that video enough. It's probably the best rant video I've ever seen on YouTube. I will definitely leave a link down below, in the description box, so you guys can check it out for yourselves, because it is definitely worth your time. Okay, so let's talk about Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin / Norman Osborn. Fantastic. Excellent, perfect casting choice right there. Just, it fits. It absolutely, I thought it was perfect. It was flawless. I thought that performance was excellent. It was just, tremendous. It was awesome. I really, really do think that nobody else can play a better Norman Osborn / Green Goblin better than Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe is amazing in this movie. I just cannot praise him enough. There's this meme going on, okay? And this was during a couple years after the movie was already out, and Spider-Man 2 was already out, at that point too, as well. I think Spider-Man 3 was already out as well. And yeah, so over the years, the internet has gotten bigger, and it's actually blown up, I mean, a huge success. It's been blowing up pretty well, and it's just gotten bigger. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Well, ever since then, there's been this meme that was going on that, well, the Green Goblin suit looks like a Power Ranger outfit. Yeah, it's very, the Green Goblin suit is very Power Ranger-y. It's very Power Ranger-esque. That's basically what this suit is to a lot of people. And I disagree. I disagree with it. I used to agree with that whenever I heard about it, back in the past when I was younger. So what I did was compared an actual Power Ranger suit to a Green Goblin's suit in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Once you actually compare the two, there's no resemblance to Power Rangers, period, at all. If you actually compared an actual Power Ranger to a Green Goblin's outfit, there's no resemblance whatsoever. The face is too different, the outfit is very different, so it just pisses me off that people just blew it out of proportion because somebody started this meme, and it just spread around like crazy. And I don't agree with it. I do not agree with it at all. It looks nothing like a Power Ranger outfit. It was a different suit. It was a completely different looking suit. A lot of people joke on the Green Goblin suit all the time and make fun of it. They make fun of it all the time. I'm like, why? It looks fine. Sure, maybe the Green Goblin would have looked a little bit better if he had actual makeup, but who cares? It looked cool. It still looked cool. It looked amazing still. I don't understand. I really don't get it. I really do not get it. But yeah, anyway, rant over. Let's get back to the review here. No, it's not a Power Ranger outfit. It's far from it. It looks nothing like one. So stop telling me that. Just don't sit there and say that. Just don't do it. Yeah, but anyway, rant over. Okay, I'm done ranting. People saying that the Green Goblin outfit looks like a Power Ranger outfit when it clearly does not. So, yeah, let's get on to other things I want to say about Spider-Man. There are some horror-like elements inside of Spider-Man, if you guys don't know this. The Green Goblin was super creepy. That voice that he did, especially when Dafoe did it inside the mirror, holy crap. That is very Evil Dead. That has a very Evil Dead vibe. That scene alone with William Dafoe as Norman Osborn looking into the mirror, talking to himself through the Green Goblin towards like the middle of the movie. Okay, now this is going to contain some spoilers, but hey, I warned you. But yeah, now there's a scene like towards the middle half of the movie where, well, during the second act, where Norman Osborn is talking to himself like through the mirror, through the Green Goblin, saying all these things that are so just kind of creepy, Like he has that laugh. That laugh is the creepiest of all. Like that laugh that he did, you know. Yes, that laugh. Right out of Evil Dead. Like that scene right there has a very Evil Dead vibe and a very horrific vibe. That scene alone is very horrifying, and I love it. That scene is gold. I love that scene a lot. So horrifying. Like that scene just freaked me out when I was a kid. Like, oh my gosh, man, that scene was so cool. That's very Sam Raimi-ish, like it's a very Sam Raimi-ish scene. Like that's what I tend to notice with Spider-Man 1 and 2. And I love that about this first movie and the second movie. Oh my gosh, like I cannot stop thinking about that scene. That scene is so memorable, like in my opinion. I love it a lot. It's killer. It's a killer scene. It's great. Other things I want to say about Spider-Man is that there's a lot of Easter eggs in Spider-Man. I tend to notice a lot of them. Well, one of them is, well, Bruce Campbell. He's actually the WWF announcer or something like that, Like that was really cool seeing Bruce Campbell in here. I thought that was a really good reference to Evil Dead. Love that a lot. There is another really good Easter egg in here that I tend to notice a lot. This is a really cool one. This is a really cool Easter egg. Peter Parker is wearing, the colors of the Green Goblin during that dinner. And after that, you see Norman Osborn wearing Spider-Man colors, red, blue. So you see Peter Parker wearing greenish colors, and you also see Norman Osborn wearing Spider-Man's colors, the red and blue. That is so cool. I mean, like, I didn't notice that. I've been watching this movie for years, and I tend to never ever notice that as a kid. I never ever noticed that until now. And until another YouTuber pointed that out, Chris Stockman pointed that out in his review. And I'm like, wow, I did not notice that. It slipped by me. I did not notice that at all. Okay, so overall, the casting was perfect, in my opinion. I thought that it was near flawless. Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, fantastic casting choice. You have Kristen Dunst. She is Mary Jane Watson, and perfect. Great casting choice there. You have James Franco as Harry Osborn, the son of Norman Osborn. Excellent. Phenomenal casting choice there. Like, all the casting decisions were just perfect. They were the right decision. Like, they were the right decision for this movie. Like, they were on par with the comic books. Like, they were on par. Just completely on par, because if you don't know that the Amazing Spider-Man comic books were very cheesy. They were super cheesy. It really blows my mind that people like to make fun of the same Raimi movies because they're cheesy. Well, and I'm like, haven't you read the Amazing Spider-Man comics? They were really cheesy, and there's proof of that. I mean, like, just look up YouTube videos on different issues of the Amazing Spider-Man, and you will find that out. That, when you actually read them, they are cheesy, just like these movies. And it does have a serious vibe to it too, and that's what I really do love about it, and what I can really appreciate what Sam Raimi was trying to do with it. So I've already talked about my experience with Spider-Man and how I remember seeing it in the movie theaters, and I really was blown away by it. So yeah, let's talk about, well, the things I loved about the movie overall. I really love how Spider-Man is an actual human spider. Like he shoots webs out of his wrist. Like right here, see that right there? He shoots spider webs out of his wrist. That's a thing that I can really appreciate. I like how it's like, Spider-Man is a legit spider, Like he's a human version of a spider. I really do love that. I can appreciate that. It makes it feel like more realistic. I tend to like it a lot better than the web shooters. I do understand that most people would like to prefer the web shooters, because Spider-Man would have been better if he were using web shooters, because, like, he would have to create a device. Like, screw that. Like, no, I want Spider-Man to be a legit spider. I want Spider-Man to be the best spider he can possibly be. Like, the best Spider-Man he can possibly be. Like, I don't really care about Peter Parker creating some fancy device where, like it's a web shooter and he's shooting webs, like, from this device. I don't care about that. Like, screw that. I want to see Spider-Man be a legit spider. I want him to be a human version of a spider. Yeah, so let's see. You have Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man slash Peter Parker, and I think he's the best Spider-Man we're ever going to have. I think he's the best Peter Parker we're ever going to have too. Like he is a great Peter Parker. Tobey is a great Peter Parker and a great Spider-Man. I think I think that Tobey is a fantastic Peter Parker and a fantastic Spider-Man. People would say that, oh, well, Tobey was just the best Spider-Man or just the best Peter Parker. Like, no, he's the best at both. Screw that. No, Tobey is the best at both. Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I think he's great at both of them. So no, I do not agree with that at all. So yeah, screw that. Have like other casting members in here, like Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. You have James Franco as Harry Osborn. You have, of course, Willem Dafoe, I just mentioned, as Green Goblin / Norman Osborn. You have J.K. Simmons as Jonah Jameson. I think that's how you say his name. Jonah Jameson. Wow. I cannot see anybody else portraying a better Jonah Jameson. It's literally impossible. Like, I just can't see it. I just cannot see it. Like, J.K. Simmons is Jonah Jameson. Like, it's a fact. It's a fact to me. I consider it opinion. I consider it a fact. And I'm pretty sure that nobody can dispute that with me at all. I'm pretty sure nobody can. I adore the final battle scene between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was well filmed. I thought it was well shot, well choreographed. It was action heavy. It was brutal. Like, that in battle between Spider-Man and Green Goblin, it was brutal. Now, that's where you get to see the vulnerability in Spider-Man. The vulnerability in Spider-Man is something that's very, very important with any hero. You know, whether it be something from Marvel or DC or any hero. I think the vulnerability really works so well in Spider-Man. I think it works phenomenally. And I know this video is just basically praising Spider-Man to death, but I can't help it. It's a great film. I love it a lot. I love the end battle sequence. It was tremendous. I thought the end battle sequence was just brutal, but there are some elements in Spider-Man that feels very horror. There are some aspects that feel very Evil Dead, and I think that that's a cool thing. I think that's a really cool thing to know. I think Sam Raimi did a fantastic job with this first installment, and I thought he was the right decision, the right director to go for with Spider-Man. I thought that Sam Raimi nailed it with Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire just embodies Spider-Man. Like, Tobey is Spider-Man. He is Peter Parker. Don't get me wrong, I do like Andrew Garfield in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but I don't know. He just cannot top Tobey Maguire. He just can't. He simply cannot. But that's just my opinion. But that's just as far as I'm concerned. So you guys may think differently, but yeah, that's okay. This is where the spoilers come in. Are you guys ready? Okay, here we go. So, yeah, Spider-Man comes to a point where he has to make a choice. He has to make a decision. Rather, does he want to save Mary Jane Watson, or would he rather save these kids that are on this train, or whatever it's called? That Green Goblin forces Spider-Man to make a choice. Green Goblin forces him to do this. So, yeah, that scene is super duper intense. I cannot express on how intense that scene is. Wow, like, it was so cool, though. It was a cool scene. And it was touching. Well, it was kind of a little depressing, but at the same time, it was exciting, nevertheless. Now then we get to nearly end of the movie, where Mary Jane Watson, well, Mary Jane, she pretty much tells Peter, she expresses to Peter that she's been pretty much in love with him, well, the entire time. And Peter says to Mary Jane that he will always be there for her, he will always be there to take care of her, he will always be her friend. And as soon as Peter says that he will always be her friend, as soon as Peter says that, okay, uh, Mary Jane immediately shreds in tears. And like that was a pretty touching scene. It was a pretty sad scene too at the same time. Just yeah, and Uncle Ben seeing his grave. Now Ben Parker was a huge father figure to Peter. Peter loved he loved his Uncle Ben. He loved him so much that when he got shot and everything, it brought Peter to tears, and I just felt that moment too. I just felt sad. I just felt depressed seeing that scene. Like, it was so touching. It was so warming inside. Oh my gosh, like, just thinking about that scene, it just makes me tear up. It's so sad. Yeah, but Peter stayed strong, and you know, like he'll never ever forget. Well, his father he considers his Uncle Ben his father because he was a huge father figure to Peter. I mean, like he was a great father figure. In fact, yeah, he was a fantastic father figure to Peter. We'll never ever forget this line that Ben Parker says. You know, like Uncle Ben. I don't think anybody will forget this line. Great power comes great responsibility. That is a line that anybody can quote. Anybody can. Anyone who has seen this film can quote that line nonstop. I mean, too, another cool thing about this movie is that the quotable lines that Spider-Man has, he does crack jokes. People complain about the Sam Raimi movies because they don't have Spider-Man crack jokes. Well, people seem to overlook those cracked jokes because there's quite a bit of them in this movie. Well, for example, like during the wrestling match when Peter Parker slash Spider-Man, like he's fighting this wrestler, and he says things like, "Well, hey, nice outfit. Did your husband give it to you?" And he also says things like, "Okay, I'll let mom and dad talk for a minute, will ya?" You know, like stuff like that, like funny lines that Spider-Man is known for, and people seem to overlook those. I don't understand. It's basically giving you what you want. You know, it's giving you the fan service you wanted. You know, like I don't understand why you can't see it, why you can't hear it, but it's there. You're just not looking clearly. You're not looking hard enough. Just saying. This movie ends on a really huge cliffhanger, and that's what I love about it because it's setting up for the second movie, which I will be reviewing next. But yeah, I think that was a cool ending, and it works pretty well for me. I think that this is the best Spider-Man movie. Well, this is probably the second best Spider-Man movie besides Spider-Man 2, because Spider-Man 2 is phenomenal. But yeah, I love this movie so much. Yeah, so for that reason alone, Spider-Man gets an A. Think about it, hero. Yeah, that's a great line. I love it. It's gold. Love the line. I love this movie. I don't really have much problems with the first Spider-Man film. It's just that it's not great enough. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but it's great. It's not great enough to hit my A+ masterpiece mark. So, what did you guys think of Spider-Man? I would love to hear that down below in the comment section. I will be sure to read that. So, I will end. Yeah, so stay tuned for my Spider-Man 2 review. That's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, stay tuned for Spider-Man 2. I will be reviewing that, and as well as Spider-Man 3. Yeah, I will be reviewing that too. So yeah, so let me know down below in the comment section what you guys thought. I will be sure to read that. I will be sure to read your comments. Because I always do. I mean, you guys, I don't leave you guys hanging. Come on now, I don't leave you guys hanging. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So until next time, everybody, take it easy, guys, and take care, everyone.